Unless you haven't been keeping up with all the drama from the past month or so, Jada Pinkett Smith has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. With that being said, it only makes sense that some people have been making their opinions known. I'm Ethan for IO, and here's 10 celebs who've been speaking out against Jada Pinkett Smith. If there's one person on this big blue planet who's earned the right to sport a Jada-free membership card, it's none other than her estranged hubby, Will Smith. Let's face it, after 7 years of stealthily living the solo life while still wearing a ring, he's probably got a few pent-up Jada-isms that have him walking on eggshells. This man's life has been a roller coaster of public humiliation, a carnival ride that swings both ways thanks to their mutual shenanigans. And now, she's been giving us all the hot goss on what really went down behind the curtains of the Smith household. Turns out they were not only separated, but Jada was penning love letters to none other than the late rap legend Tupac Shakur. Jada's book has only been out for about a month, and he's already got stress lines for days. It's safe to say the men in black are on red alert, and that once sunny disposition is turning a bit cloudy. Will's now the proud owner of a Jada grudge, and let's just say his feelings for her are starting to look a little independence dimmed. It's not just Will, however, as his son Jaden has also joined in on the fun. One thing that absolutely did not make the world a better place was the revelation that Jaden Smith moonlights as an amateur shaman and introduced his mom to the wonders of hallucinogenic tea. In her grand reveal promoting her tell-all book, she spilled the herbal tea beans, claiming that her son Jaden swooped in as the psychedelic superhero during a particularly dim chapter in her life. Now, it's not like Jaden was holding a daily spiritual summit, but he'd read about the potential mind-bending benefits of this brew and suggested they take a wild ride on the magic tea train. Apparently, it worked wonders, and amazingly, all her gloomy thoughts disappeared. While the whole affair had Jaden, along with his sister, performing a comedic two-person begging act, urging their mother to hit the brakes on the tell-all express. After all, Jaden didn't exactly set out to become the poster child for herbal enlightenment, especially when the magic potion isn't the most legal thing in the United States. Jaden has every right to plead for a little privacy here. I mean, the dude has been thrust into the spotlight since before he was washing windows for Mr. Miyagi. To finish off the Smith trio, Willow has also had some less than savory things to say about her mom. It turns out that Willow and her bro have been playing the opposite day game when it comes to their parental approval rating for eon. Over time, it's become pretty clear that they basically acted as their own lifeguards, with their folks clocking in hours whenever they could, but constantly away due to filming and whatever other obligations they had. And so, like so many other children of celebrities, they were practically raised by a rotating cast of nannies and assistants. So much so that by the time they hit their late teens, they were probably giving the nannies performance reviews. Both Willow and Jaden decided to bail on the Hollywood train their parents had set up for them and went off to create their own epic adventures. Willow by rocking it in the music scene, and Jaden by making ripples in the fashion world. But Willow's got her own mic to drop on this story. Just like her bro, she's thinking, "Mom, can you chill for a second?" It's not like they grew up in Fort Knox, but they still managed to keep a few secrets, unlike their mom, who gives a tell-all interview every time she sneezes. Willow and her brother have shouted from the mountaintops that they wish Jada would cut their dad some slack and keep the family shenanigans a little more low-key. But it really hasn't paid off so far, as you can tell. If it's not Tupac, who can't really call out Jada, the person not personally involved with the Smith family, who's been associated with them the most, is Chris Rock. You've probably heard by now that Jada and Will Smith have been doing the whole separation thing for a while, but here's a new twist in the plot. Before Chris Rock got his impromptu face massage at the Oscars courtesy of Will, he actually tried to ask Jada out. This happened in 2016, right when those separation rumors were all over the news everywhere. Picture this. Chris calls Jada and says, "Hey, I'd love to take you out." Jada, being the quick-witted queen she is, responds with a simple, "Why?" Chris, thinking he's onto something, reveals the truth bomb that he thought she and Will were on the verge of divorce. Turns out, that was news to Jada, and Chris was left in quite the awkward position. So either he thought he had insider info, or believed everything he read on the internet, which, coming from personal experience, I know you should never do. Jada shared this story, and Chris probably wasn't the biggest fan of the whole ordeal. Some folks even think this little oopsie-daisy might have been the spark that ignited the fiery Will Smith Oscars moment. So along with the physical slap, that seems like a mental one too. The world got a royal jolt when R&B singer August Alsina spilled the beans on one of the juiciest rumors in the Jada and Will saga, fessing up to having a 2015 affair with Jada. And you won't believe what he said next. In an interview that had more twists than an M. Night Shyamalan movie, he claimed he sat down with Will and got his blessing. Can you imagine that conversation? Will was left scratching his head, and Jada, ever the maestro of melodrama, spilled the rest of the tea on Red Table Talk. She whipped out her regret card and described her little rendezvous as an entanglement. Picture two Christmas lights all tangled up in a box. It's a festive metaphor for sure. Now the world couldn't decide whether to be puzzled about her airing her dirty laundry online for the world to see, or concerned that she brought August into this. After all, he was just a fresh-faced 22-year-old struggling with an autoimmune condition, making constant hospital visits. Jada even threw in the fact that she was his mentor at the time. It's like she had an affair and gave him life advice on the side. Now that is a true multitasker. After Jada told the world about her entanglement, it became quite the nuisance for a lot of people. For 50 Cent, it was like an annoying mosquito that just wouldn't leave him alone. Social media went into a frenzy, with users flocking to Instagram to share their 2 cents, including none other than 50 Cent himself. He decided to give his buddy Will a piece of his mind, asking why Jada chose to air her laundry on a global stage. He even went on to say, she only says she can give permission for someone to blow her back out. Is that like inflating a balloon with an air pump? Will's response? Let's just say it involved more colorful language than a Picasso painting. Fast forward to October 2021, and 50 Cent was still not the biggest fan of Jada's antics. He's not alone in this boat. It seems like a whole shitload of folks have a bone to pick with her. Jada seems to have a knack for picking the juiciest moments to stir the pot, and her book Revelations are no exception. If you've watched that interview where she spills the beans, you've probably noticed her skillful zoning out and faking her way through the conversation, all while probably having a secret maniacal laugh inside her head. 50 Cent understandably questioned why she decided to share her life story with the world, especially when it left her character in the hot seat. But just a reminder, this is Jada Pinkett Smith we're talking about. Gabrielle Union and Jada's red carpet encounters were like a series of comedic collisions, as their careers seemed to tangle up more than headphone wires in a pocket. You might recognize Gabrielle from Bring It On or Meet Dave, while Jada Smith made her memorable mark in Scream 2 and The Nutty Professor. But when they found themselves together, it wasn't the friendliest. Rumor has it that Jada didn't exchange a word with Gabrielle for a whopping 17 years, and she couldn't even recall why. Talk about long-term tension. Then a few years ago, Jada finally decided to extend an olive branch and clear the air. Their chat ended with a mutual epiphany that they were both divas back in the day, and they had diva-sized mentalities to match. Jada even had Gabrielle over to her red table talk. During the heartfelt chat, Jada spilled the tea, admitting that she was in a not-so-pleasant place back then, but has upgraded the old mental real estate since. Union later popped up on Today and shared the revelation that their insecurity was the real villain behind the rip. Now, isn't it funny how they were suddenly able to chat it out once there was a platform to record and release their conversation? Make amends with a fellow celeb, and make some online moolah. It's a double win. That's the Hollywood way. Alyssa Griffin, co-host of The View, couldn't help but let her thoughts fly, and she's got a bone to pick with Jada Pinkett Smith. In a podcast episode of Behind the Table, Griffin went on a comedic rampage, expressing her admiration for the accomplished actress, while also scratching her head in confusion. She asked, why in the world would Jada put all her information out there for the world to see? I mean, some things are best kept hidden. With a puzzled expression, Griffin mused about Jada's lack of consideration for Will's feelings. It's like she's going on a solo journey through the world of oversharing. And let's not forget the estranged but undivorced status of 7 years of separation without the papers to show for it. Jada's been singing the no divorce anthem, but with the recent revelations, who knows? Will might be dusting off his lawyer's number as we speak. In the grand circus of Hollywood, it seems Jada's got a front row seat for the drama, and Alyssa Griffin is more than willing to share her popcorn and commentary. It's a showbiz showdown for the ages. When Tessa Thompson discussed her role in the unsuccessful Men in Black reboot, Men in Black International, she expressed admiration for Will Smith's contribution to the original film. She commended him for breaking barriers in Hollywood, allowing people of color to bring their authentic identities to studio films, and many other things. However, some other celebrities believe that Will Smith has not done nearly enough to support the acting community. Lena Waithe, who directed the thriller Queen and Slim in 2019, pointed out that Brad Pitt's production company funded critically acclaimed black-led films like 12 Years a Slave and Moonlight. She called out Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, noting that while they have their production company, they primarily use it to promote movies for Will. Waithe asserted that she would never be content making $20 million per movie without also financing at least 4 or 5 independent films. It's worth noting that Waithe faced significant backlash for her statements, with some fans accusing her of a gratuitous violence in Queen and Slim, and later in the Amazon series Them, which she also produced. Our last point goes out to you, loyal fans of Jada, the hype squad that never signed up for this drama-filled roller coaster. While it's true that not every single fan has joined the chorus, there's been a good old ton of them chiming in on this wild ride. It's like a virtual flash mob. Folks flock into social media, from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter, all shouting, "Jada girl, you need to hit the brakes." After years of love, devotion, and peeking through the curiosity keyhole, they're finally saying she's taken things a bit too far. In a world where even her co-stars and her own offspring are dishing out info, feels like we're on the verge of knowing her toothpaste preferences. Who needs a biography when you have Jada's social media feed? Fans, bless their hearts, are trying to wrangle this whirlwind of revelations like the MVPs of online sanity. Just goes to show the internet is indeed a bizarre place. That's just 10 of the many peeps who've called out Jada. Who did we miss, and who was the harshest? Let us know in the comments below. And for IO, I'm Ethan, and I'll see you in the next one.